welcome to another section of our podcast called All In. I'm Amy Jamrog, and I am excited to be here today with Darcy Ripple and Laura Landergott from Whole Growth Partners. So these are two women, part of a bigger team, who are all in when it comes to marketing and branding in the financial services world. So welcome, both of you, and thank you for being here today and taking some time to share your wisdom.
Thank you, Amy.
Thanks, Amy.
You are welcome. All right, so let's just get started. Let's do a little backstory first. Maybe Laura, you can kick it off and just share your background, where Whole Growth Partners came from, and what your thinking was in the beginning and what it's evolved to today.
Sure, thank you for that. So just a little bit of background. Both Darcy and I spent time, many years actually, 11 for me, and Darcy, what was that for you? 8?
Something like that. Feels like a lifetime ago.
In corporate marketing with a large financial services firm. And so that gave us some intimate knowledge of working with financial advisors, wealth management advisors, really understanding everything that what marketing needs to do, how it works, the compliance aspect. And so we really experienced a lot of the how-tos of marketing in a different way than we had from our previous marketing roles. And there came a time where it was an opportunity for us to do something on our own. We saw that there was a tremendous gap, and I think corporate financial services always does a really nice job of packaging up some digital marketing. And there's absolutely a place, I think, for digital marketing, but we saw that this is a relationship business. It's always been a relationship business, and it always will continue to be a relationship business. Mm-hmm. So we knew that there was a big gap for helping to do something, being not only a pair of hands, but setting the strategy and then taking activation. So we created a concierge approach to marketing with a number of other things around it now, but that helped. At that time we were even wondering, is there a place for this? We felt it, and we were thinking, should we have this as a niche? Is this our expertise? Should we really broaden this and make this available for everybody? And we can get into that a little bit later, but we stayed the course and leveraged everything that we knew in those 11 and 8 years consecutively to really bring a unique experience to financial advisors for marketing purposes.
And Darcy, for you, you've been in the business same amount of time. What would you say has been your biggest aha, going from corporate marketing to the work that you're doing now with individual advisors and teams? What's been your biggest learning?
So I think first off, moving from that employee to business owner mentality, we were stepping into actually walking that walk. We knew that there was tremendous value in narrowing in on a niche, in owning that niche, in really getting focused on who we serve and what we do. But of course, when we launched into this business, as any business owner does, we're thinking, well, I don't want to turn down business. I think that maybe there's opportunity to bring this marketing to financial advisors, but also maybe it's attorneys, maybe it's realtors, maybe it's folks that are living in a similar business model, but in a separate industry. And we learned pretty quickly that we could be so much more effective. We had so much more fun leaning into this niche, doing what we do best with the market that we know best. And so we really went all in on serving the financial services industry with that marketing. Throughout our time now as a business, we have just continued to expand in the service model that we bring to the table, in the way that we serve advisors, and being able to add even more value for them and their teams.
So when you decided to just hone in on and only work with financial advisors, did you find yourself lacking referrals, lacking business? Did it take a long time? Mm-mm. This is a setup question.
No, actually, I feel like it was even much easier than what we had thought. Once we were crystal clear on who we were best positioned to serve, support, and work with, it became even easier there was flow, there were referrals from the work that we were doing, but also from, sometimes we call it the natural market. When Darcy and I looked into our Rolodexes, if you will, that's all we saw were many financial advisors all across the country, some of the best names that the industry has produced, with highly successful firms. Mm-hmm. So it became abundantly clear that if we just stayed in our lane and did it really well and went really deep, we were the subject matter experts, unrivaled. We have no competition when it comes to understanding the unique needs of how to market for in financial services.
Mm-hmm. No competition, right? Who gets to say that?
Well, of course we have competition. I'd be remiss to say, but really, we are the game in town, and that really feels good to be the leader in that space.
Well, and the way that you even just stated that, it's so much confidence, so much conviction, and just clarity, of course. When you speak about the financial services world, like there's no jargon, but you do speak a language that instantly financial advisors can understand.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. And it gives our clients so much confidence in referring us, knowing that we know this industry inside and out, that we are the top financial services marketing firm. They deliver those referrals without hesitation.
It's huge. Well, and I was, with you, Darcy, earlier this week in a course that you were teaching when you were talking about, how do you build your personal brand? How do you do your marketing? And you were talking about this expression, I think is so great. Are you going to be, unique in the industry? Like, how are you going to stand out? Or are you going to be part of this, you call it the sea of sameness, which I think is, we all kind of run into. Everyone's a competitor in our industry, right? There's tens of thousands of us, sometimes in our own communities. So where does an advisor, I know this is a giant question and it can be unique to each advisor and their team, but where do you begin the conversation to figure out like who I am and what's unique about me and my team compared to all my colleagues?
Mm-hmm. Well, Laura, I can kick that off. I think it becomes a lot easier when you know who you're best suited to serve. So when we know that ideal client, when we know that market that we want to work with, we can then begin to understand, and why are we the firm of choice? Why are we different? What do we deliver to this ideal client and this market that truly sets us apart from other advisors? When we're thinking that we're just going to market to anyone and we can serve anyone, it's impossible to really hone in on, and why are we different? Saying that we serve just about anyone isn't really magnetic. That might be seen as an asset in some instances, but without really honing in on who we best serve, we can't begin to articulate and why we are the firm of choice.
So, someone had said, when you were asking, like, well, tell me what it is that you uniquely do. And he said, I deliver holistic financial planning and really get to know my clients. And then we, FINRA, fiduciary, and it was like jargon. Mm-hmm. And it also just kind of sounds like everybody. Mm-hmm. So, the work that you do is so special. And having worked with you both for a number of years and seen the work product that you've produced for other advisors and other teams, I want to talk about marketing specifically, because this question comes up a lot in our coaching conversations. Let's first talk about the experienced advisor. We've got a lot of experienced advisors who will be listening to this. So Laura, I'll go to you first on this one. Let's assume someone's experienced, someone is known in their community, and now they've got cash flow, they're successful, they want to build a marketing budget. Where do you think those marketing dollars are best spent? I know it's a huge question, but if someone's got a budget and people know who they are, like how do you advise building that marketing plan?
Well, I believe in something that I call heart marketing, and that is in the discovery or in the fact finder. When I'm sitting down with an advisor, and our process very much mirrors what an advisor would go through. We learn first what the objectives are and goals, and the thoughts and feelings, perspectives, what they've done in the past. Like we dig in, and I really look for things that an advisor is passionate about. So if I'm sitting across from a career advisor who's been in the business for 20 plus years, give or take, I want to know their why. Why are they still in this business? I want to hear what they're passionate about, what they like to do in their spare time. And that those seem like just so easy questions, but the trained ear picks up on the things that maybe are said and also unsaid. And then we build a marketing strategy around that. Because if they're passionate about it, anytime we can bring together things that an advisor is deeply passionate about and intersects their business goals, that's where the magic happens. Mm-hmm. So for instance, one of the firms that I'm personally working with, I had heard them say how much they love to travel, and that they have somebody that they know in their client base who is a travel concierge. And so that was such an easy, it was like so easy. It was just right there to begin with. But I put the thought together of maybe you engage with your top clients who enjoy travel just as much as you do, and go to the mother country and pay your respects together. And there was like visibly a tear in the eye.
Oh my goodness.
Or someone who I had, was not complaining, but she was saying, I'm spending all this money, I'm investing in marketing, but I'm not seeing anything from it. So I said, well, let's just take a little closer look at it. We laid it all out. And I asked, what was your pre-event plan for this? And then what was your post-event plan? Like, what did you do to engage and elongate that investment or that event or whatever it might be? And we quickly determined that while the planning was there on the front end, there was no follow-up. So that gave us an opportunity to not only connect to a follow-up, but also to ask for introductions at that point to others who are in this similar space.
Great.
It's really not a one size fits all. I wish it certainly could be, but we look for those opportunities that maybe haven't been taken advantage of, or that we're connecting with something that they're truly passionate about. One more example, an advisor that we had been working with was a fanatic when it came to sports. And he naturally gravitated to clients who also were fanatics of sports and a specific team. So I asked, is there anyone in your client base who is could be an expert or a coach or someone of that nature? And he said, yeah, you know what? I've got somebody who could do. He's a swing expert in golf. I said, well, why don't we have a swing clinic for the kids of your best clients? Because we know this about top clients. Our wealthiest clients they don't need anything. They don't need more gifts necessarily. They value experiences. Either do something great for their kids, their philanthropy, or their business. Those are the three big wins. So let's create a swing clinic for the kids of your top clients. Again, it was a huge home run. So the advisor was bought in because that's his heart and soul. The clients loved it because he was creating something for their kids. So it was a win all the way around. Those are the winning intersections we look for.
Perfect examples. So then let's pivot to the opposite spectrum. And Darcy, I'll throw this one to you, because I know that there are going to be people listening to this going, well, that's nice. Yeah, sure. If I could have a golf swing clinic, I would, but I have no cash flow. I don't know when the next commission run's even going to pay me. How could I even be thinking about marketing? So two-part question. One is, when should an advisor really start to think about marketing and branding? And what can you do to market and brand yourself if you have no money?
Awesome. Okay. So when should an advisor start thinking about marketing and branding? I'd say as quickly as possible. When you start this business as a business owner, yes, you might be more in the sales space, but you're running a business, and marketing is a key business function that keeps people coming in and then encourages them to actually be talking about your firm. So as quickly as possible. I know that can be challenging when you're in somewhat of this client collecting phase of your business, but there are things that you can do that don't necessarily require that investment of money. So talking about personal branding, honing in on who you work best with. Now, in the beginning stages of your career, it's unlikely that you're going to be able to get so narrow, so niche, so focused on a specific type of person. You know, we have to bring people into this business. But you can start to think about those lifestyle factors, the kind of people that you work best with. Maybe it's the way they make decisions, or they all have similar goals, or through your differentiation, self-analysis, you've discovered that, you know what, I do this differently. And maybe it's even leaning into the accountability factor, whatever it might be. So you're honing in on the type of person that you best work with, how you're different, and then establishing some of that initial language that appeals to people in your market. So you want to be magnetic. You want to make sure that you're communicating based on a benefit, not on a product, and then bringing people into your firm. Now, with that being the foundation, there are then marketing exercises that you could take part in that are going to enhance your client experience, and they're no cost, low investment. So that might be in auditing your client experience. So from the very first moment that a prospect learns about you to the time that they actually come in becoming a client and then beyond, how are you communicating with them? We know in this industry that client communications are one of the biggest influencers of client satisfaction. So are you communicating with your prospects from the get-go in a way that's anticipatory, that elicits confidence, that makes them want to keep moving through your sales cycle? With your clients, are you proactive with things like market volatility or other things that might be happening that they're worried about? You know, they expect to hear from you. And so are you communicating in a way that elicits confidence? Those are some things that are really impactful, low cost, no cost, and can truly be the thing that creates that client advocate for your firm.
And what about paying for social media ads? I know we got compliance issues too in our industry, and listeners will be, coming from all different companies and independent. So compliance aside for the moment, what about, is it worth the investment paying for social media ads?
Laura, I can take that if you want to, then maybe backfill. So unless you have a real call to action, something that's measurable, something that you know that you're looking to drive someone to, I wouldn't recommend the social media ad. Companies like Coca-Cola or other big name companies, they have the budgets to spend on awareness. So that would be something like, hey, here's a link to my website to learn more about our firm, or even download this freebie. If you're hosting an event, maybe there's a webinar, an in-person event, something that you're looking to actually measure, drive attendance to, a Facebook ad or a social media ad can be valuable, but you need to make sure that there's that follow-up that Laura talked about. So it's not enough to just, have somebody download your freebie or attend your event or even register for your event. What are you going to do to continue to move them through your funnel from that awareness to that consideration? You're nurturing them. You have those really intentional touch points that continue to move them through your funnel to actually become a client. So social media ads can be valuable if you have the right strategy in place.
So here's a question, Laura, going back to what you said earlier, that people, oftentimes wealthier clients, right, more successful people, don't necessarily want stuff, gifts. They're really more interested in experiences. but some people still like gifts. So so the question for you is, as you're just brainstorming, and Darcy, please feel free to jump in. Some of the most, just a little bulleted list, a couple of the most successful events that you've seen advisors host, and then what are your favorite gifts that you heard of people sending?
Sure. If you don't mind, I am going to just take on something to the former question of social media ads, et cetera.
Please. Yeah, please.
So the one thing that I would I'd offer is it's the opportunity cost, especially for advisors that have maybe a smaller or limited budget, or just starting to break into the foray of marketing. And that is, if you have $2,000 to spend on something, where can you get your greatest return? Is it investing in social media ads? Or is it, would you take that 2,000, could you do something different with it? We even play that game ourselves when we're going through our own budgets in business. And we've actually said no to some things purposefully because we knew we could get a greater return by doing something else. So for instance, if it's that $2,000 example, because this is a relationship-based business, it might be a better opportunity to create an experience, an event, or what have you, leading into your next question, that we're then able to not only engage with our top clients, but create space and opportunity for them to invite some of their colleagues, friends, family, putting more opportunities and new introductions in the top part of our sales funnel. So that's it's always about the opportunity cost. What else could I do with this investment? And then onto your your next question of like, what kind of experience or events and things of that nature. That's a really broad question, and it depends on the business objectives that you're trying to set out. One thing that we've learned as very early on in working with a client, a wealth management advisor, we conduct client interviews, their interviews with their top clients. And we learn so much from, that's called voice of client, so much from them on what experience they would like, what would they like to participate in, what would they, if they say yes to something to attend, that means that they have to say no to something else in their personal lives. So it has to be really worth it, something that they wouldn't be able to do themselves. So right now, because of market volatility, we're starting to hear many answers on, I want my advisor to provide educational opportunities for me to understand what's going on, how to make sense of what I'm reading, how to decipher the things that we should or should not be doing or considering. So education is huge. So I'll stop there and I'll let Darcy jump in, and then I have some other examples if we have time.
Great.
So client events, client gifting, when we are actually hosting those non-educational client events, to Laura's point, we're looking for things that they might not have access to. So do we have a connection in the community? Maybe that advisor knows somebody within their clientele that has access to some kind of asset. Maybe that's a boat, maybe it's a country club, maybe it's something else that we can lean into. Perhaps their client owns a winery or some kind of business where we're helping to create that connection then. So nurturing that relationship, also providing some kind of behind the scenes experience. When it comes to gifting, Laura already said it, when we're gifting or hosting experiences for someone's children, their business, or that philanthropy, that's where we see that relationship just continue to grow. That's the gift that someone loves. And so, yes, wealthy people have a lot of things and they might not need more things. But when it's something dedicated to one of those, we see that really hit home very well.
You guys, thank you, because we took your advice we spend, on our team, I've been in the business for 26 years. And one of the things that we've always prided ourselves on is our gift giving, that we are thoughtful about it. We do creative things. We put a lot of time, effort, and money into thinking about the gifts that we're going to send to the clients, whether it's for the holidays or for their birthdays. And then finally this year, we said, after talking with you guys so many times, I wonder what the clients want. Maybe we should send a survey out and actually ask them. And it was so surprising, overwhelmingly, how many clients said, we've appreciated all the things you've sent us over the years. Please stop. We're trying to reduce our carbon footprint. We're trying to Marie Kondo our house. We don't need more things. We see how much need is in the community, and we'd rather you spend any dollars that you would have spent on a gift to us on some sort of charitable contribution. And it was like, it wasn't what we were doing. So it was just really helpful to know your client. And now we have in our database segmented the people who want a charitable gift, the people who said, I'd really love an event. And I love something virtual. It's hard for me to go to something. Other people who say, I can't do another Zoom event. I'd love to go to something. And then there's still a handful of people who said, keep the gifts coming. So now we've got gift giving segmentation, which we had never had before this year. And it's even more targeted than it was before. So thank you, because that all came from you. One last question, and you can both answer it if you'd like to. This as a total commercial for the work that you do, because I know it's so excellent. What do you want advisors to know about why they should engage with you versus trying to DIY marketing?
Well, I'll start and then pass it off to Darcy. One of the most impactful things that we help advisors with, aside from a marketing strategy and knowing where to go and et cetera, is a lot of rebranding. When an advisor comes to us and says, I am interested in creating a new brand for my firm, and that's a very personal decision. It's an intimate process. It's some soul searching and some reflection. It's frustrating, but exciting. And to be able to help shepherd someone through that journey. And on the back end, there's a name a new firm name that reflects the personality of who they are and why they're in this business to begin with, and creating a logo, but a brand identity by which they can go to market. There's nothing that's more rewarding. And I can't tell you how many times when we've crafted a brand message to accompany those two previous pieces of naming and a logo, that there is complete silence on the other end of the call, and emotion that is unparalleled. We've all had our team of 8 moving to 9 shortly. We've all had that experience where we're sitting across from the proverbial Zoom conference table, and after this reveal of their new brand, that they just put their head down and think and say, I can't believe that you read into my soul. You were the first people who've listened. We may have worked with another nationally known marketing firm before. They didn't hear us. They didn't listen to us. You listened. And I can't tell you how important that is. And that's our why. That's what we do.
No doubt. Well, it also has to, for the experienced advisor, like, it's got to be a reboot. It's got to give you something like exciting to come back to work to do for the next part of your career. That's awesome. How about you, Darcy? What's your final thought on this?
So, we know that we are experts in marketing. And sometimes when we talk about marketing with financial advisors, we're like, well, we're going to do this and this. And they're thinking like, oh my gosh, like there's no way. And for them to think about doing this on their own, we don't have that expectation. We know that financial advisors, wealth management advisors, you are experts in what you do. You should not be expected to do your own marketing. That is not the expertise. That's not the career that you've signed up for. So by surrounding yourself with experts like us, we know that this is what's going to take your business further, faster, and actually make work enjoyable. You're working with people that you get to work with, not people that you have to work with.
Perfect wrap up. Thank you. Thank you for your time. Thank you for your expertise. Thanks for leading the charge, especially you work with so many friends of mine from the past 26 years of my career. I see the transformation in the work that you've done with teams. So it's just congratulations on all the success that you've had. And for anyone who wants to get in touch with you, what's the easiest way for someone to reach out to you guys?
You can visit us on our website, which is wholegrowthpartners.com. There's a button that says Let's Talk. We'll easily connect that way, schedule a conversation, and be able to flesh out what are your goals, what makes the most sense, and how should we consider working together.
Terrific. Thank you both so much. I really appreciate our partnership and all the work that you've done to help our clients too.
Thank you, Amy.
Thank you.